Hi, this is Denise Asena in Las Vegas, here at Vegas Real Estate Advisors. Today I want to talk about a very important topic. It is the disclosure that everybody signs in a real estate transaction. It is called the wire fraud disclosure statement. And what it talks about, it's wire fraud is real as it can get. Buyers are targeted and so are sellers. So I'm going to cover both angles, but let me give you a background of how crazy this cyber crime is. Last year, cyber criminals got $20 billion from people through email scams. The real estate industry itself had $275 million stolen through email hacking. So I'm going to ask, what are they doing? How are they doing this? It is simple. The wiring instructions being sent from the escrow and title company are being hijacked. So email accounts are being hijacked, and these cyber criminals are acting as the escrow officer, and they're emailing you saying, hey, this is your escrow officer, please wire your funds over to this account. We've changed our wiring instructions. Well, that doesn't happen mid-escrow. Let me just say that again. Wiring instructions will never change during escrow. I've had it happen one time in 10 years. It doesn't often happen, but what you are asked to do is when you get wiring instructions to send in either an earnest money deposit at the very beginning of escrow when you go under contract, or you're sending in your final funds to close, which is the remaining part of your down payment. That's the bigger chunk that they're looking for. Call your escrow officer on the phone and verify that that's where you're sending your money. If you know your EMD, your earnest money deposit, got there already, use the same exact instructions to send your closing funds. The hackers are infiltrating all of our email accounts as they can in order to get to our clients and say, hey, send us money. Now, the disclosure that you sign is telling you that it's there. I talk to my clients in person when we're shopping for homes. I tell them and reiterate the importance of it when we are signing disclosures. And also when we're in escrow, I always say, just be leery of any emails you get. We're never going to ask you to send money before the right time for closing escrow. I mean, if it's a 30-day escrow period, we're sending money on that last week. We're not sending it the first 10 days. And that's usually when they kind of come in. So I'm going to give two examples, one on a buyer side, one on a seller side, and this is crazy. I had a buyer out of state retiring to Nevada. I met them on a few occasions and I told them about the email fraud of scammers trying to get their money. They were aware of it. We signed disclosures. The second time go around, I explained it again because then they found a house they wanted to put an offer on. We go under contract, they get EMD and they get earnest money deposit in escrow. It's fine. We have 30 more days to rock. A weekend, like a Friday comes, a weekend comes, and that next week, which maybe let's call it 10 days in, he gets an email from a hacker. It looked like it came from escrow. And it said, our wiring instructions changed. Please wire your final funds for this property to this account. He didn't call me. He didn't say, hey, that's a little weird. We've just been in contract for a week. He didn't call escrow and title. He sent $250,000 without telling anybody, 3 weeks ahead of schedule, to a hacker. He then nonchalantly mentions it when I asked him for other things during the first part of opening escrow and getting all of our inspections done. And he goes, oh, I already sent funds. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? And then he goes on to tell me how he did it and what happened. We get on the horn. And by the way, FBI has no jurisdiction to get your money back. It's gone. If you wire it, it's gone. He had one little angel on him. His bank in the state he lived in caught it as a red flag and said, this isn't right. Why are we doing this? Their fraud department caught it and they froze as much as they can. After, I think it was 3 months of them fighting it back, the bank gave him 80% of his money back, but he lost the 20% of that $250,000. Yes, that sucked, but he's lucky he even got the 80% back. Huge lesson learned, because I'm the guy screaming, hey, it happens. He still fell for it. That's a terrible lesson and a story that I'm sharing you, but it happens to the best of us. Now, flip, next deal was a seller, and this was more recently, believe it or not. A seller was hacked, and luckily she didn't fall for it, but she did call me and say, hey, is this right? Is this weird? And then she sent me the email. She sold her home and pocketed, I think it was maybe $800,000 net proceeds in her bank account. She got it. She was in the clear. She thought she was in the clear, even though I tell her about the wire fraud as well. On a seller side, it's not too common because they're not wiring money out for buying the house, but they went after the big chunk. 800,000 is sitting in her bank. The email came over and said, hey, this is your brokerage, Charles Schwab. I want you to invest this money that you just made. How about you wire in your funds and we'll help you invest it for your retirement. Send it over. And she sends it to me, and I do this search on the actual email that it came from, and one digit was off from like the Charles Schwab thing. It was hard to find, but then I went and, down my rabbit hole. I searched, and this was a very prominent thing where they are targeting people that are not even in escrow anymore and saying, I know you just closed a real estate transaction, but they came at it from the angle of your brokerage account instead of an escrow account. They're smart. These cyber criminals are so smart. That's why they make billions every year. I'm here to just help shed some light and let you know. Call your escrow and title company if you get an email that says wiring instructions have changed. 99.9% of the time they have not. So be very, very cautious, skeptical. Always pick up the phone. Don't just send money. Don't do it. That being said, I think I covered all the topics. I would love to hear your feedback. I'm sure you guys know of people that this has happened to. The FBI and the banks and title company, of course, they're all trying to work to protect us. But the disclosure says they have no way of getting this money back. So it really is your best interest to be very, very proactive and cautious in this field. Share your comments, chime in, and don't forget to like and subscribe. That really helps our channel. Again, I am Denise Senna with Vegas Real Estate Advisors. I will see you on the next video.